Logan Sargeant's seat is the only one left for confirmation in 2024, and it seems like Willams is not rushing anywhere with their decision. The young American has seemingly won the hearts of James Vowles and the entire Willams management by scoring a point on his home turf, but the fact that he crashed the car multiple times and was severely off the pace compared to Albon opens up room for another young prospective driver, Frederik Vesti. With this in mind, is there going to be a real battle for the last seat in 2024? And if so, who has the odds to win it? It has been one of the most pleasant surprises for the USA audience when it comes to Logan Sargeant barging through the F1 doors after his stellar F2 performance last year. But it's also safe to note that his consistency, more precisely the lack of it, has brought some serious question marks over whether or not he's made of Formula One material. Rumours about him being replaced have been circulating all around the paddock throughout the entire year, and that itself has enough potential to ruin the season for a young and aspiring driver. James Vowles has been constantly supportive of Sargeant and has said many times that he needs some time to adapt to the F1 environment. But if we are to judge by Nick de Vries and how AlphaTauri treated him, then I guess this treatment is the best one that Sargeant can and is currently receiving from Willams. Be that as it may, the 2024 season seems like one in which we'll see him race at least a couple of races, if not the entirety of it, but the team principal of Willams has cast some doubts over whether or not the second seat in Willams is secured. With the changes that AlphaTauri made, it's obvious that Willams is going to need two very strong drivers that will be able to constantly finish in the points, not just Albon. And right now, Sargeant doesn't seem to fulfill this requirement after one full season under his belt. This is why Vowles wants to look at more data before continuing the contract with the American driver. And when talking about his future, he went on to say, "Whatever happens, Logan has been a part of the Willams Academy for many years and will always remain a part of our academy, and he is a quick driver. But if we step away from that, if you look at the last 5 races on how he has improved and is stepping forward, you can see signs that what he is doing is what he needs to earn the seat, but we aren't in a position to confirm that. We're proud of the steps he has made this season." There are lots of reasons why Sargeant should and should not be racing in 2024, and one of the most obvious is that this is a harsh environment and you don't get too many chances of proving yourself that you're tailor-made for this competition, if your name is not Lance Stroll, obviously. Due to the lack of talent in the previous years, Yuki was able to escape the harsh environment that thrives in AlphaTauri, but now that he understands he needs to perform in order to keep his F1 season alive, he delivered stellar results to help them climb from P10 to P8 in the Constructors' Championship and grant them millions of dollars in prize money. Now, if Willams decides to go against Sargeant and pick another driver, who would it be? It's not Mick Schumacher, the guy that Wolf vouched for, because Vowles has been quite adamant that the German driver is simply not fitting into their philosophy. However, Willams might want to explore the F2 market yet again and sign a driver who's been a runner-up for the championship this year, and that is Frederik Vesti. The 21-year-old Dane had a much better season compared to Sargeant if we are to look at fighting for a championship in their respective runner-up seasons, where Sargeant finished 4th in 2022 and Vesti finished 2nd this year. Gwen Largay, who is the head of Mercedes driver development program, provided some insights about the future of Vesti and his journey to F1, and speaking to the Extra Bladette newspaper, went on to say, "Parts of his F2 season were very strong. We lost it at Spa, Zandvoort and Monza. It cost us some momentum and had an impact on the discussions over the summer. After the Abu Dhabi test, I will sit down with Fret and Dort and talk about the future. But it is already certain that he will be a part of the Mercedes family into the future. We have plenty of work for him." Vesti has also fulfilled quite a prolific post-season run for Pirelli, where he managed to outperform Sargeant, even though he was in the much more competitive W14 compared to the FW45 of Logan. Be that as it may, Vesti is showing a lot of potential, and there are quite some signs that we might see him on the grid sooner rather than later, and the doubt that is circulating around Logan's head is certainly giving us some reasons to think there might not be a second full season under the American's belt. Vowles has opened up as to what it would take for him and his team to re-sign Sargeant, and when talking about this, the team principal of Willams went on to say, "I just want to check through a full season of data one more time and look at the progress, look at mistakes, look at the outliers, look for growth, and just make sure we are on the right track. I think you can see signs that he's doing exactly what we need him to earn his place, but we are not in a position where we can confirm that at the moment." Sargeant himself is very happy with the way things have been going, and we cannot help but note that there has been an improvement in his form. The only question is whether this improvement is enough for Willams to sign him for a full year in 2024 now that they know what is coming after them, or will they actually be ready to give up on the young buck and sign yet another youngster that they feel has a lot more potential to deliver in the Willams car. Elaborating on his foreseeable future, Sargeant said, "I feel like from a driving point of view, everything's been getting much better in the past for however many rounds. And yeah, I'm just trying to do my job the best I can. I think with how it's been going recently, I don't see any issues." Now, what is the most likely outcome of this scenario? Vesti is very likely to sign a contract with Mercedes that will keep him with the Brackley-based squad for all kinds of duties and activities, similar to what all Mercedes prodigies have been doing right after exiting F2, Nick de Vries included. But with not many places available for other teams to sign him, and with Wolff already declining the offer of Schumacher to drive for Williams, there are lots of reasons why we should feel like the future for Vesti in Formula One is all but certain. And let's face it, the American market is thriving for an American driver, so if Sargeant can pick up the pace and start delivering points on a regular basis, similar to what Albon has been doing throughout the entire year, then the coverage of Williams in the States is going to be enormous. Just look at what happens right now with the Las Vegas GP and the increased interest from Andretti to enter the sport. The USA fans are loving it, and that's how all things should be. After all, Sargeant was the first American driver to enter the sport after Alexander Rossi left in 2015, and only the fourth one since 1990. So from a marketing point of view, Sargeant fulfills all of the necessary checks to drive in Formula One. But his performance is something that definitely needs approval, because we saw what can happen when you underperform and when you are the main reason why your team is struggling the way they do. With this in mind, there will be a lot of speculation in the future, but with Vowles leaving the door open in Williams, it's not a guarantee that the last spot for 2024 won't be snatched right in front of Sargeant's eyes, even when he's convinced that he has done everything he can in order to keep it home. What do you think will happen with the Williams seat in 2024? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.